Hello, my dear brothers and sisters. It is Sister Mary. I am taking a break from daily activity to come in and read the book of Job. I will start, and I did not put what chapters, but we are beginning in this video with chapter 1, and then I will remind everybody where we are when we stop. I don't have a time frame. Could go 30 minutes, could go 40 minutes. I'm just not sure. This is the interlinear Bible in which I am reading from, so it will be Job chapter 1. There was a man in the land of Uz, his name was Job. And this man was perfect and upright and fearing God and turning away from evil. And 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him. And his possessions were 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels and 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she-asses, and a very great household, so that this man was greater than all the sons of the east. And his sons feasted in the house of each one on his day, and they sent and called their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it happened when the days of feasting had gone around, Job would send and sanctify them. And he would rise early in the morning and offer burnt sacrifices according to all their number. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." This Job always did. And a day came when the sons of God came to present themselves before Jehovah, and Satan also came among them. And Jehovah said to Satan, "From where have you come?" And Satan answered Jehovah and said, "From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it." And Jehovah said to Satan, "Have you set your heart on my servant Job? Because there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, fearing God and turning away from evil." And Satan answered Jehovah and said, "Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not made a hedge for him, and for his house, and for all that is his all around? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But put on your hand now, and touch against all that is his, and see if he will not then curse you to your face." And Jehovah said to Satan, "Behold, all that is his is in your hand. Only do not lay your hand on him." And Satan went out from the face of Jehovah. And a day came when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their brother's house, the firstborn. And a messenger came to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing and the asses were feeding beside them, and the Sabaeans fell on and took them away. And they killed the young men with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While this one was still speaking, this other also came and said, "The fire of God has fallen from the heavens and has burned up the sheep and the young men, and it has destroyed them. And I alone have escaped to tell you." While this one was still speaking, this other also came and said, "The Chaldeans made out 3 bands and swooped down on the camels, and they have taken them away, and they have killed the young men with the edge of the sword. And I alone have escaped to tell you." While this one was still speaking, this other came and said, "Your sons and your daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brother, the firstborn. And behold, a great wind came from the wilderness and touched the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young men, and they died. And I alone have escaped to tell you." And Job rose up and tore his robe and shaved his head, and he fell down on the ground and worshipped. And he said, "I came naked out of my mother's womb, and naked I shall return there. Jehovah gave, and Jehovah has taken away. Blessed be the name of Jehovah. In all this Job did not sin, nor charge wrong to God." Chapter 2 of Job. Again a day came when the sons of God came to present themselves before Jehovah. And Satan also came among them to present himself before Jehovah. And Jehovah said to Satan, "From where have you come?" And Satan answered Jehovah and said, "From going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it." And Jehovah said to Satan, "Have you set your heart on my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, fearing God and turning away from evil?" And he is still holding to his integrity, although you incited me against him to swallow him for nothing. And Satan answered Jehovah and said, Skin for skin. Yea, all that a man has he will give for his life. Put out your hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse you to your face. And Jehovah said to Satan, Behold, he is in your hand, but keep his life. And Satan went out from before the face of Jehovah, and he struck Job with bad burning ulcers from the sole of his foot to the top of his head. And he took a broken piece of pottery with which to scrape himself, and he sat down among the ashes. And his wife said to him, Are you still holding fast to your integrity? Curse God and die. But he said to her, You speak as one of the foolish women speaks. Also, shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? In all this Job did not sin with his lips. And 3 friends of Job heard of all this evil that had come on him. And they each one came from his own place. Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuahite, and Zophar the Naamathite. And they had met together to come to lament with him. And when they lifted up their eyes from a distance and did not recognize him, they lifted up their voice and wept then. And each one tore his robe. And they sprinkled dust on their heads toward the heavens, and they sat down with him on the ground 7 days and 7 nights. And no one was speaking a word to him, for they saw that his pain was very great. Chapter 3 of Job. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed his day. And Job spoke and said, Let the day perish in which I was born, and the night which said, A man-child has been conceived. Let that day be darkness. Let not God look on it from above, nor let the light shine on it. Let darkness and the shadow of death seize upon it. Let a cloud dwell on it. Let all that blackens the day terrify it. As for that night, let darkness seize it. Let it not be joined to the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Behold, let that night be silent. Let no joyful voice come in it. Let those curse it who curse the day, those ready to stir up Leviathan. Let the stars of its twilight be dark. Let it wait for light, but have none. Let it not see the eyelids of the dawn. For it did not shut up the doors of my mother's womb, nor did it hide misery from my eyes. Why did I not die from the womb? Come from the womb and expire. Why did the knees go before me? Or why the breast that I should suck? For now I would have lain down and have been quiet. I would have slept. Then I would have been at rest with kings and wise men of the earth, who built ruins for themselves, or with princesses that had gold. They filled their houses with silver, or as a hidden miscarriage. I would not have been like infants who never saw light. There the wicked cease from turmoil, and there the weary are at rest. The prisoners are at ease together. They hear not the voice of the slave driver, the small and the great. He is there, and the slave free from his master. Why is light given to the miserable one, and life to him who is bitter in soul, who is waiting for death, but it is not, and they dig for it more than for treasures. They are rejoicing to exaltation. They are glad when they find the grave, to a man whose way is hidden. God has made a hedge about him. For my sighings comes before my food, and my groanings are poured out like the waters. For the dreadful thing I dreaded has come on me, and that which I feared has come to me. I am not at ease, nor am I at rest, nor am I quiet, yet turmoil comes. Chapter 4 of Job. And Eliphaz and Temanite answered and said, Shall one try a word with you, you who are weary? But who can hold back with words? Behold, you have instructed many, and you have made weak hands strong. Your words have upheld him who was falling, and you have made feeble knees strong. But now it has come upon you, and you faint. It touches you, and you are troubled. Is not your reverence your hope, and your hope the uprightness of your ways? I beg you, remember, whoever perished being innocent. Or where were the righteous cut off? As I have seen, the ones who plow iniquity and sow misery reap the same. They perish from the breath of God, and by the blast of his anger they are consumed. The lion roars, and the voice of the lion and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion is perishing for lack of prey, and the lioness offspring are scattered. Now a word was stolen to me, and my ear received a whisper of it. In thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falls on men, fear and trembling met me, and made my many bones dread. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern its form. An image was before my eyes, and there was silence. Then I heard a voice. Shall mortal men or man be more just than God? Shall a man be purer than his Maker? Behold, he puts no trust in his servants, and he charges his angels with folly. How much more those that dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust? They crush them before the moth. They are shattered from morning till evening. They perish forever with no one regarding. Is not their cord pulled in them? They die, but not with wisdom. Chapter 5 of Job. Call now. Is there any one answering you? And to which of the saints will you turn? For vexation kills the fool, and passion puts to death the simple. I have seen he, fool, taking root, but suddenly I cursed his dwelling place. His sons are far from safety. Yea, they are crushed in the gate. Nor is there any deliverer. The hungry eat his harvest, and take him to the thorns, and the snare snuffs up their wealth. For affliction does not come forth from the dust, nor does trouble spring up out of the ground. For man is born to trouble, and the sons of the flame arise flying upward. Truly, I would seek to God, and to God I would commit my cause, who is doing great things, and there is no searching, wonderful things to which is no numbering. He is giving rain on the face of the earth, and is sending water on the face of the field, to set the lowly on high, and the mourners become very high in safety, breaking the plots of the crafty, nor did their hands perform the undertaking. He takes the wise in their craftiness, and the counsel of the willy, and the counsel and one is hastened. They meet with darkness by day, and grope in the noonday as it in the night. But he saves the needy from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. And there is hope for the weak, and injustice shuts her mouth. Behold, blessed is the man whom God corrects, and despise not the chastisement of the Almighty. For he wounds, and he binds up. He strikes, and his hands heal. He will deliver you in 6 troubles, yea, in 7. No evil shall touch you. In famine he will redeem you from death, and in war from the hand of the sword. You shall be hidden from the whip of the tongue, and you shall not be afraid of violence when it comes. You shall laugh at violence and at famine, and you shall not be afraid of the beast of the earth, for you shall be in covenant with the stones of the field, and the beast of the field will be at peace with you. And you shall know that your tent is in peace, and you shall visit your home, and you shall miss nothing. And you shall know that your seed will be numerous, and your offspring as the grass of the earth. You shall come to the grave in full vigor, like a stack of grain comes up in its season. Consider this. We have searched it out. It is so. Hear it and know it for yourself. Chapter 6 of Job. And Job answered and said, Oh, that my vexation were carefully weighed, and my ruin lifted in the balances together. For now it would be heavier than the sand of the seas. On account of this my words have been rash. For the arrows of the Almighty are within me. Their fury is drinking my spirit. The terrors of God are set against me. Does the wild ass bray over tender grass, or does the ox low over his fodder? Are tasteless things eaten without salt, or is there taste in the slime of an egg? My soul refuses to touch them. They are sickening food to me. Who will give it that my desire might come, and God would grant my longing, and God would be willing and crush me, let loose his hand and cut me off? And it is yet my comfort, and I would exult in pain not spared, for I have not hidden the words of the Holy One. What is my strength that I should wait? And what is my end that I should prolong my life? Is my strength the strength of stones, or is my flesh bronze? Is not my help within me, and is wisdom driven from me? To the faint, mercy is due from his friend, for he forsakes the fear of the Almighty. For my brothers have dealt deceitfully, like the torrent, like the streams of torrents. They vanish, those darkened from ice in which the snow hides itself. At the time they are warned, they are cut off. When it is hot, they vanish from their place. The paths of their way bend, they go to nothing and are lost. The troops of Tema looked, and the travelers of Sheba hoped for them. They were ashamed because they had hoped. They came there and were ashamed. Surely now you have become like it. You see my dismay and are afraid. Did I indeed say, give to me, or offer a bribe for me from your wealth, or deliver me from a foe's hand, or redeem me from the oppressor's hand? Teach me, and I will be silent, and cause me to understand in what I have erred. Right words are powerful, but what does your arguing argue? Do you intend to criticize words and the speeches of one who is hopeless, that are as wind? Yea, you cause even an orphan to fall, and dig a pit for your friend. And now please look on me, for if I lie, it is before your face. Turn back, I beseech you. Let there be no wrong. Yea, return again, for my righteousness is in it. Is there wrong in my tongue? Cannot my palate discern desirable things? Job chapter 7. Is there not a warfare to man on earth, and his days like the days of a hireling? As a servant pants for the shade, and as a hireling looks for his wages, so I am caused to inherit months of vanity, and weary nights are appointed to me. When I lie down, I say, when shall I rise up? But the night is long, and I am full of tossing until dusk. My flesh is clothed with worms and clods of dust. My skin is broken, and it runs afresh. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle, and are ended without hope. Remember that my life is a breath. My eyes shall not return to see good. The eye of him who sees me shall gaze at me no more. Your eyes are on me, and I am not. As the clouds fade and vanish, so he who goes down to Sheol shall not come up. He shall return no more to his house, nor shall his place know him any more. Therefore, I will not hold my mouth. I will speak in the distress of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. Am I a sea or a sea monster, that you set a watch over me? When I say my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my complaint, then you scare me with dreams and terrify me with visions, so that my soul chooses strangling and death rather than my bones. I am wasting away. I would not live always. Let me alone, for my days are vanity. What is man, that you should magnify him, and that you should set your heart on him and visit him every morning, trying him every moment? How long will you not look away from me, nor leave me alone until I swallow down my spittle? I have sinned. What do I do to you, O watcher of man? Why have you set me as a target for you, so that I am a burden on myself? And why do you not pardon my transgression, and make my iniquity pass away? For now I shall lie down in the dust, and you shall seek me, but I will not be. Chapter 8 of Job. And Bildad the Shuhite answered, saying, Until when will you speak these things, since the words of your mouth are like mighty wind? Or does God pervert judgment, or does the Almighty pervert the right? If your sons have sinned against him, and if he has sent them away in the hand of their transgression, if you would seek earnestly to God and make your prayer to the Almighty, if you were pure and upright, surely now he would rise for you and make whole the abode of your righteousness. And your beginning was small, yet your end would greatly increase. For I beg you, ask of the former generation, and prepare to the search of their fathers. For we are but of yesterday, and we know nothing, because our days on earth are a shadow. Shall they not teach you, and tell you, and bring words out of their heart? Can the rush grow up without mire? Can the reed grass grow without water? While it is yet in its greenness and not cut down, it dries out before every plant. So are the paths of all those forgetting God, and the hope of the ungodly shall perish. Whose hope is cut off and his trust as a spider's house. He shall lean on his house, but it shall not stand. He shall hold fast to it, but it shall not endure. He is moist before the sun, and his branches shoot forth on his garden. His roots are wrapped around a heap. He sees a house of stones. If one destroys him from his place, then it shall deny him, saying, I have not seen you. Behold, this is the joy of his way, and out of the earth others shall grow. Behold, God will not cast away the innocent, and he will not help the evildoers, until he fills your mouth with laughter and your lips with rejoicing. Those who hate you shall be clothed with shame, and the tent of the wicked shall not be. Chapter 9 of Job. And Job answered and said, Truly I know it is so, but how can man be just with God? If he would argue with him, he cannot answer him 1 of 1,000. He is wise in heart and mighty in strength. Who has been hard against him and been at peace? He who moves the mountains, and they do not know, when he overturns them in his anger, who shakes the earth out of its place, and its pillars tremble, the one speaking to the sun, and it does not rise, and he sets a seal around the stars, stretching out the heavens by himself, and walking on the waves of the sea, who made the bear, Orion, and Pleiades, and the chambers of the south, who is doing great things past finding out, yea, marvelous things without number. Behold, he goes by me, and I do not see him, and he passes on, but I do not perceive him. Behold, he takes away. Who can turn him back? Who will say to him, What are you doing? God will not withdraw his anger. The helpers of pride stoop under him. How much less shall I answer him and choose my words with him? Though I were righteous, I could not answer him. I seek mercy for my judgment. If I had, and he answered me, I would not believe that he had listened to my voice, but falls on me with a tempest and adds to my wounds without cause. Who will not allow me to take my breath, but fills me with bitterness? If I speak of strength, behold, he is mighty. And if of judgment, who can summon me? If I justify myself, my mouth will condemn me. Though I am perfect, he shall declare me perverse. Though I were perfect, I would not know my own soul. I despise my life. It is one. So then I said, He is consuming the perfect and the wicked. If the whip kills suddenly, he will mock at the testing of the innocent. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covers the faces of its judges. If it is not he, then who is it? Now my days are swifter than a runner. They flee away. They see no good. They have passed away like the reed ships, as an eagle swoops on food. If I say I will forget my complaint, I will loosen my face and be cheerful. I am afraid of all my sorrows. I know that you will not hold me innocent. I have been condemned. Why should I labor in vain? If I wash myself with snow and make my hands clean with soap, yet you will plunge me into the ditch, and my own clothes would abhor me. For he is not a man as I am, that I should answer him, that we should come together in judgment. There is no mediator between us, who might lay his hand on both of us. Let him take his rod away from me, and let not his dread make me afraid. Then I would speak, and not fear him, for I am not so in myself. Job chapter 10. My soul loathes my life. I will leave my complaint on myself. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. I will say to God, do not condemn me. Make me know why you contend with me. It is good to you that you should crush, that you should despise the work of your hands, and you shine on the counsel of the wicked. Have you eyes of flesh, or do you see as a man sees? Are your days as the days of man, or your years like the days of man, that you seek out my iniquity and search for my sin? You know that I am not wicked, and there is no one delivering out of your hand. Your hands have made me and shaped me together all around, yet you destroy me. Remember, I beseech you, that you have formed me as clay, and will you bring me to dust again? Did you pour me out like milk? Yea, curdled me like cheese? You clothed me with skin and flesh, and knitted me with bones and sinews. You have made me have life and favor, and your providence has kept my spirit, and these you have hidden in your heart. I know that this was with you. If I sin, then you watch me, and you will not acquit me from my guilt. If I am wrong, woe to me. And if I am righteous, I will not lift up my head, being filled with shame and seeing my pain. And if it rise, you would hunt me as a lion, and again you show yourself wonderful in me. You renew your witnesses against me, and increase your anger with me. Changes and warfare are with me. Why then did you bring me from the womb? I would have died, and no eye seen me. I would have been as though I had never been, carried from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Then cease, and set me alone, that I may take a little comfort before I go. And I shall not return to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, a land of obscurity, the darkness of the shadow of death, and not any order. Even the shining is as darkness. Chapter 11 of Job. And Zophar and Namathite answered and said, should not a flood of words be answered? And should a man of lips be justified? Should your lies make men silent? And will you mock, and no one make ashamed? For you have said, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in your eyes. But who will grant that God would speak and open his lips against you, and would tell you the secrets of wisdom, that sound wisdom is manifold? Know then that God forgets some of your iniquity for you. Can you find out God by searching? Or can you search out the end of the almighty heights of the heavens? What can you do? It is deeper than Sheol. What can you know? Its measure is longer than the earth, and broader than the sea. If he passes through and shuts up and gathers together, then who can turn him back? For he knows the vanity of men, and he sees deceit, and will he not consider? For foolish man takes heart, and man is born a wild ass's colt. If you prepare your heart and stretch out your palm toward him, if iniquity is in your hand, put it far away, and do not let wickedness dwell in your tents. Surely then you shall lift up your face without blemish, and you will be steadfast and will not fear. For you shall forget your misery, and shall remember it as waters that have passed, and your lifetime shall rise more than the noonday. You shall fly. You shall be as the morning, and you shall trust, because there is hope. Yea, you shall look about, and you shall lie down in safety. You shall lie down, and shall be no one terrifying. Yea, many shall seek your favor, but the eyes of the wicked shall be consumed in the escape. And escape shall perish from them, and their hope shall be like the breathing out of the soul. Chapter 12 of Job. And Job answered and said, For truly you are the people, and wisdom will die with you. I also have a heart as well as you. I did not fall short of you, and with whom are not things like these? I am laughing. I am a laughing stock to his friends. Who calls on God, and he answered him. The just, the upright one, is a mockery, a flaming brand, despised in the thoughts of him who feels secure. It is ready for those with slipping feet. The tents of robbers are at ease, and those provoking God secure, to whomever God brings into his hand. But now please ask the animals, and they will teach you, and the birds of the heavens, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you, and the fish of the sea will recount to you. Who of all these does not know that Jehovah's hand has done this? In whose hand is the soul of every living thing, and the breath of all flesh of man? Does the ear not try words, and the mouth taste food for itself? With the aged is wisdom, and the understanding in the length of days. With him is wisdom and strength. He has forethought and understanding. Behold, he breaks down, and no one builds. He shuts against a man, and no one opens. Behold, he holds back the waters, and they dry up. And he sends them out, and they overflow the earth. With him is strength and sound wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. He causes wise men to go stripped, and he makes judges fools. He loosens the bonds of kings, and he binds their loins with a girdle, making priests go away stripped. And he overthrows the mighty, turning aside the lip of the trusted men, and he takes away the reason of the aged. He pours scorn on nobles, and he unties the belt of the mighty, revealing deep things out of darkness, and he brings the shadow of death to light. He gives greatness to the nations, and he destroys them, spreading out the nations, and he leads them out. He takes away the heart of the heads of the people of the land, and he causes them to wander in the wasteland with no path. They grope in the dark, and there is no light, and he makes them stagger like a drunkard. Chapter 13 of Job. Behold, my eye has seen all this, my ear has heard and understood it. As you know, I also know. I do not fall short of you. Surely I would speak to the Almighty, and I desire to argue with God. But you are imputers of lies. You are all worthless healers. Oh, that you would stop speaking entirely, and it would be your wisdom. Hear now my reasoning, and listen to the arguments of my lips. Would you speak unrighteously for God, and speak deceitfully for him? Will you lift up his face, or will you contend for God? Is it good that he should search you out? Or, as one man mocks another, do you mock him? He will surely reprove you if you secretly lift up faces. Shall not his highness, make you afraid, and his dread fall on you? Your remembered sayings are like ashes. Surely your backs are backs of clay. Be silent from me, that I may speak, and let what will pass over me. Why do I take my flesh in my teeth, and put my life in my hand? Behold, he will kill me. I will not wait, but I will justify my ways before his face. He also is my salvation, for an ungodly one shall not come before him. Listen carefully to my words, and let what I say be in your ears. See now, I have set my cause in order. I know that I shall be justified. Who is he who will strive with me? For then I would be quiet and die. Only two things do not do to me, O God. Then I will not hide myself from your face. Withdraw far away your hand from me, and let not your terror make me afraid. Then call I, and I will answer. Or let me speak and answer me. How many are my iniquities and sins? Make me know my transgressions and my sin. Why do you hide your face and count me for your enemy? Will you terrify a leaf driven to and fro? Will you pursue the dry stubble? For you write bitter things against me, and make me inherit the sins of my youth. You also put my feet in the stocks, and watch all my paths. You set a limit on the soles of my feet, and he wears out like a rotten thing, like a garment which a moth eats. Chapter 14 of Job. Man born of woman is short of days, and full of turmoil. He comes forth like a flower and withers. He also flees as a shadow and does not stand. Also, do you open your eyes on such a one and bring me into judgment with you? Who gives a clean thing out of an unclean? No one, since his days are fixed, the number of his months is with you, and you have appointed his bounds, and he cannot pass over. Look away from him, so that he may rest, till he shall enjoy his day as a hireling. For there is hope of a tree, if it is cut down, that it will sprout again, and its shoot will not cease, though its root becomes old in the earth, and its stump dies in the dust. Yet at the scent of water it will bud and bring forth branches like a plant. But man dies and is cut off, and man expires, and where is he? As the waters go from the sea, and a river wastes away and dries up, so man lies down, and does not rise until the heavens are no more. They shall not awake, nor be roused out of their sleep. Who will grant that you should hide me in Sheol? You would conceal me until your anger turns back, that you would set a limit for me and remember me. If a man dies, will he revive? All the days of my warfare I will wait until my change comes. You shall call, and I will answer you. You shall long to the work of your hands. For now you number my steps. Do you not watch over my sin? My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and you cover over my iniquity. And surely a falling mountain crumbles away, and the rock moved out of its place. The waters wear away stones. Its outpouring washed the dust of the earth, and you cause the hope of man to perish. You overpower him forever, and he passes. You change his face and send him away. His sons come to honor, and he does not know. They fall, but he does not mark it. But his flesh is pained within him, and his soul mourns over him. Job chapter 15. And Eliphaz and Temanite answered and said, Should a wise man answer with windy knowledge, and fill his belly with the east wind? Should he reason with speech that is not useful, or with words having no profit in them? Yea, you do away with fear, and take away devotion before God. For your iniquity teaches your mouth, and you choose the tongue of the crafty. Your mouth condemns you, and not I. Yea, your own lips testify against you. Were you the first man born, or were you made before the hills? Have you heard the secret counsel of God? And do you limit wisdom to yourself? What do you know that we do not know, or understand that is not with us? With us are both the gray-headed and very aged men, mightier than your father as today's. Are the comforters of God small with you, and a word dealing gently with you? Why does your heart carry you away, and why do your eyes flash, that you turn your spirit against God, and let such words go out of your mouth? What is man that he should be clean? And he, born of a woman, that he should be righteous? Behold, he puts no trust in his saints. Yea, the heavens are not clean in his eyes. How much more is filthy man loathed, who drinks iniquity like water? I will tell you, hear me, and I will declare this that I have seen, that which wise men have told, and have not hidden from their fathers. to them alone the lands were given. And no alien passed among them. All the days of the wicked, he is laboring in pain. A number of years are stored up for the ruthless. A fearful sound is in his ears. The destroyer shall come on him when he is peace. He does not believe that he shall come back out of darkness. He is awaited by the sword. He wanders for bread. Where is it? He knows that the day of darkness is at hand. Distress and pain terrify him. They shall overpower him, as a king ready for the attack, because he stretched out his hand against God, and acts mighty against the Almighty. He runs at him with a stiff neck, with the thick layers of his shields, because he has covered his face with fat. Yea, he has put fat on his loins, and he dwells in failed cities, in houses where not any dwells in them, which are ready to become heaps. He shall not be rich, nor shall his wealth hold out, nor shall he stretch out their gain on the earth. He shall not escape from the darkness. The flame shall dry up his branches, and he shall turn at the breath of his mouth. Let not he, being deceived, trust in vanity, for his reward shall be vanity. Before his day it shall be fulfilled, and his branch shall not be green. He shall shake off its unripened grape as the vine, and he shall cast its flower like the olive. For the company of the ungodly shall be bleak, and fire shall devour the tents of bribery. They conceive mischief, and generate evil, and their belly prepares deceit. Chapter 16 of Job. And Job answered and said, I have heard many such things. You are all miserable comforters. Shall windy words have an end? Or what provokes you that you answer? I also could speak as you. If your soul were in the place of my soul, I could bind words against you and shake my head at you. I might make you strong with my mouth, and the moving of my lips could spare you. If I speak, my pain is not held back, and though I forbear, what ease do I get? But now he has made me weary. You have made all my company desolate, and you have plucked me, for it is a witness, and my failure rises up against me, and it answers to my face. His anger has torn and hated me. He gnashes at me with his teeth. My enemy sharpens his eyes at me. They have gaped at me with their mouth, and scornfully struck my cheek. They gather themselves together against me. God has delivered me to the perverse, and he has turned me over into the hands of the wicked. I was at ease, but he has shattered me. Yea, he has also taken hold on my neck and broken me to bits, and he has set me up as a target for him. His archers surround me. He spits my inward parts and has no pity. He pours out my gall on the ground. He breaks me with break on top of break. He runs on me like a warrior. I have sewed sackcloth on my skin, and I have thrust my horn in the dust. My face is reddened from weeping, and the shadow of death is on my eyelids, though no violence is in my hand, and my prayer is pure. O earth, do not cover my blood, and let not my cry have a place. Even now, behold, my witness is in heaven, and he who testifies of me is on high. My scorners are my friends. My eye pours out tears to God. Oh, that one might plead for a man with God as a man pleads for his friend. For the years that are few will come, and I shall go the way from where I shall not return. Chapter 17 of Job. My spirit is broken, my days are extinct. Graves are for me. Are not mockeries with me, and my eyes rest on their insults? Please lay down a pledge for me with yourself. Who is he who will strike my hand with me? For you have hidden their heart from understanding on account of this. You shall not exalt them. He tells against friends for a share. Even his son's eyes shall be consumed. He has also set me as a byword of the peoples, and I am a spitting to the faces, and my eye is dim from grief, and all my members are like a shadow. Upright one shall be amazed at this, and the innocent shall stir himself against the ungodly. and the righteous shall hold firmly on his way, and he of clean hands add strength. And now all of them go back, and please come again, and I shall not find among you a wise man. My days have passed, my plans are broken off. The desires of my heart, they set night for day, and light is near in the face of darkness. If I wait for Sheol as my house, I have spread out my bed in the darkness. I have said to corruption, you are my father, to the worm, my mother and my sister. And where then is my hope? And as for my hope, who shall see it? They shall go down to the bars of Sheol, when our descent together is in the dust.